Court of Appeals ruled to remove Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis.
A judge rules Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis can be subpoenaed by the state Senate.
The state Senate is focused on Fulton County DA Fani Willis.
State senators
Hi everyone, and thanks for being here. Today we're here to talk about a story that's both captivating and tragic. The rise and fall of Fani Willis. She was a district attorney who reached the peak of her career, only to face a dramatic downfall. This isn't just a story about one person. It's a deeper look at ambition, decisions, and the heavy price of losing sight of what's right. Join us as we walk through the twists and turns of a career that started with so much potential, but ended in scandal. It begins with a young and driven attorney, someone who entered the legal field with the promise of fairness and justice. From her early days, Fani was seen as a fighter, someone who wouldn't back down from a challenge. Her determination carried her through law school, her early cases, and eventually into the role of district attorney. But as her career blossomed, so too did the temptations of power and influence. In the early stages of her career, Fani took on cases that earned her a reputation for toughness. Whether it was prosecuting dangerous offenders or navigating high-profile cases, she displayed a willingness to do whatever it took to win. Supporters applauded her commitment, and critics, well, they were too afraid to speak out, fearing retaliation. This was the beginning of a pattern that would ultimately seal her fate. Fani's rise to prominence wasn't just about her skill in the courtroom. She had a keen understanding of public relations, often appearing in the media to discuss her cases and policies. These appearances not only solidified her image as a fearless prosecutor but also gave her a platform to build political capital. She was strategic, leveraging her successes to climb the ladder of influence. As her name grew in prominence, so did the attention from political players. Connections were formed, deals were made, and lines were crossed. At first it was subtle, a favor here, a lenient charge there. But over time, the compromises grew, bolder. In her quest for power, she became entangled with influential figures who had their own agendas. This, however, wasn't immediately visible to the public. Fani's public persona remained that of a no-nonsense prosecutor. Press conferences painted her as the guardian of justice, a defender of the people. Her speeches were filled with promises to clean up crime, protect communities, and hold the powerful accountable. And for a time, the public believed in her. Her charisma, combined with her legal acumen, made her a formidable figure in her community.
A whistleblower's name is Amanda Timpson, and she was in charge of that gang prevention program. She wrote the grant that she is alleging was misused on things like laptops, travel, and swag for the DA's office.
But behind the scenes, a different story was playing out. Allegations began to surface. Whispers of favoritism, shady deals, and questionable financial activities. Journalists started digging, and soon, the whispers turned into headlines. Emerged was a web of corruption that shocked even her staunchest supporters. The cases that once showcased her strength now raised questions. Why were certain individuals given lighter sentences? Why did some investigations mysteriously stall? The answers pointed to a network of powerful allies and secret arrangements. As the evidence mounted, it became clear that Fani Willis had betrayed the very principles she had once vowed to uphold. The downfall was swift and dramatic. Investigations led to charges, and charges led to trials. The once feared district attorney found herself on the other side of the courtroom, fighting to defend her own actions. Her carefully crafted image unraveled, leaving behind a legacy tarnished by scandal. Her trial became a media spectacle, with each revelation more shocking than the last. Testimonies from former colleagues and witnesses painted a damning picture of a woman who had lost her way. The community that had once rallied behind her now watched in disbelief as her empire crumbled. Yet, even as she faced justice, Fani maintained her innocence, claiming she was a victim of political sabotage. As the trial progressed, the details of her corruption became undeniable. Secret bank accounts, undisclosed connections to criminal enterprises, and evidence of tampered cases all pointed to a deep-seated pattern of abuse of power. The public's trust was shattered, and the system she once represented was left to pick up the pieces. Amid the courtroom drama, allegations also surfaced regarding Fani's involvement with figures like former President Donald Trump and her legal advisor Nathan Wade. Reports detailed secretive meetings, undisclosed financial transactions, and backdoor agreements designed to shield Trump and other influential allies from legal scrutiny. These allegations painted a picture of a district attorney who wielded her power selectively, not for the public good, but to protect and advance the interests of her inner circle. Critics highlighted specific instances where cases against Trump's associates were inexplicably delayed or dismissed under Fani's watch. Whistleblowers within her office alleged that Nathan Wade acted as a go-between, facilitating arrangements that prioritized political loyalty over the pursuit of justice. One former colleague claimed that key evidence in several high-profile investigations was deliberately suppressed, while others accused her of using her office to aggressively pursue those who opposed Trump's political agenda. The fallout from these revelations was immense. Public confidence in Fani's leadership, already shaken, plummeted further as these accusations came to light. Media outlets dissected her connections to Trump and Wade, uncovering a trail of suspicious activities that stretched back years. Investigators found documents and communications that hinted at a coordinated effort to protect certain individuals while targeting others unfairly. These details added fuel to an already raging fire, cementing her role as one of the most controversial figures in the justice system. The allegations against Fani not only intensified her legal troubles, but also expanded the scope of the trial. Prosecutors began scrutinizing her ties to political campaigns and her financial records, uncovering significant donations from entities linked to Trump's network. Questions arose about whether these contributions influenced her decisions and whether her office had become an instrument of political favoritism. For many, it seemed as though Fani had traded her commitment to justice for personal and political gain, leaving a trail of broken promises and damaged trust in her wake. As these layers of corruption unraveled, public outrage reached a fever pitch. Protesters gathered outside the courthouse, demanding accountability and transparency. Grassroots campaigns emerged, calling for deeper investigations into the connections between Fani, Trump, and Wade. The courtroom became a stage for a much larger debate about the integrity of the justice system and the corrosive impact of political influence on legal processes. But what exactly led Fani Willis to this point? It wasn't just about greed or ambition. Some argue it was a combination of systemic issues, the pressure of the spotlight, and a gradual erosion of her moral compass. Her early mentors and colleagues noted her intense focus on success, a drive that often left little room for ethical reflection. The system she worked within, one fraught with its own flaws, may have provided opportunities too tempting to resist. Behind the headlines, there were personal stories of those who suffered under her leadership. Families of victims, advocates for justice, and even her former allies came forward to share their disillusionment. One mother tearfully recounted how her child's case was mishandled due to political favoritism. These stories added a human dimension to the scandal, turning public sentiment from shock to anger. Fani's story also became a rallying cry for reform. Grassroots organizations began demanding greater transparency in the justice system. Protests erupted, calling for an overhaul of the very structures that allowed her actions to go unchecked for so long. In the wake of her fall, new policies were introduced to prevent future abuses of power, from stricter oversight mechanisms to increased community involvement in judicial processes. Even as she faced a lengthy legal battle, Fani's name remained in the headlines. Books were written, documentaries were produced, and debates raged over the broader implications of her case. Some saw her as a symptom of a broken system, while others viewed her as the architect of her own demise. Regardless of perspective, her story sparked conversations that extended far beyond her own actions. Today, Fani Willis serves as a reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition and the corrupting influence of power. Her story is a lesson in accountability, one that underscores the importance of integrity in public office. Her legacy is a stark warning for those who believe themselves untouchable a cautionary tale for future generations. And so, we reach the end of this tale. A story of a rise that could have inspired and a fall that serves as a warning. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the life and career of Fani Willis. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more compelling stories. Until next time, take care and stay curious.